Disney friends, it's Amber with Mickey Travels. The past few weeks have been a whirlwind for us in the travel industry. And so if it's a whirlwind for us, we are also assuming it's going to be a whirlwind for you. Walt Disney World is going to be completely different as far as what the planning and booking process looks like. Because of all of the new changes and things that are happening, I've tried to compile as much as I can into one video for you to kind of break down everything that will be different. And then at the end, I have a 4-step planning process that is now the new normal as far as the order you need to start planning for your Disney World vacation. If you're visiting this channel because you're going to be traveling to Disney World and just like to know the ins and outs and tips that I provide, I have tons of videos on this channel to help you with that. However, this video is now going to eliminate a lot of those tips that I've been giving because a lot of the things we've talked about in the past is no longer an option now. So I hope that you view this video and find that there are things that are changing, but hopefully things that will return. And so with it being such a difficult time, if there are questions you have or you just need someone to hold your hand through the process and be on the phones for you, etc., please stay tuned. I'll have information at the end of the video if you're interested in working with me.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
First, let's go over the Walt Disney World resorts. At this point, for July of 2020 and into 2021, we have a list of resorts that are currently available for booking. Now, some resorts are going to remain closed indefinitely, but that does not mean they are closed for good. So at this point, here's a picture of a list of the resorts that are available for booking. Keep in mind 2020 packages and tickets currently, as of this video, are not able to be booked yet, but they will be opening later this summer for those of you that do want to travel in 2020. For those of you in 2021, these are the resorts you can currently book. Some key resorts that we see missing from this list are the All-Stars, both Port Orleans Riverside and Port Orleans French Quarter, Animal Kingdom Lodge, and Wilderness Lodge. We do see that all of the villas are open, and in fact, they currently are open for guests prior to when the parks are going to be opening. So if one of your home resorts is now one of the resorts that's indefinitely closed, keep in mind, go ahead and book another resort and then just stay tuned to see if that one is going to open back up for booking later. Tickets. So right now, park hoppers have been eliminated from the ticket option for 2020 packages. We will not be park hopping in 2020. We will all be using base tickets, and we'll be using the Park Pass reservation system to make those reservations, which I will get to later. For 2021, park hoppers are an option with your package. So that is light at the end of the tunnel telling us that park hoppers will be available soon, hopefully for those going next year. And assuming that the Park Pass reservations will allow you to make multiple reservations in a day for those of you that have park hopper tickets. Water parks are currently also indefinitely closed, but we can book for 2021 water park tickets with the Park Hopper Plus option. So that again is a sign that water parks would be open. Knowing what we know, and that if you book Park Hopper or water park tickets early for 2021 and those would still not be an option, you would be refunded even if you did book those and they aren't available. Dining plans. This is very devastating for a lot of us because the dining plans were a great source for us as far as having things prepaid for when we go to our meals. But dining plans have officially been eliminated for 2020 and cannot be booked in 2021 packages currently. So with the dining plans also being eliminated, we know that capacity is going to be lower for a lot of our favorite restaurants. In fact, yesterday, dining reservations opened up for those traveling in July and August who had previously had dining reservations canceled. What we saw when we were booking those, including my personal trip, which will be happening soon, is that most of the character meals were not available and will not be open. Some other key locations that were not available for booking included Ohana, which is family style, and other buffet locations. So if it's a buffet, which is more than likely also can be character, family style, or a show of some sort, those will not be available specifically probably for most of 2020, but we're unsure of 2021. For an updated list to see what is available as far as booking, be sure to visit the Disney World website, as those that are accepting reservations currently are listed on their site. One key change we did see with the dining is that Be Our Guest is no longer a breakfast location and is no longer a quick service for lunch. So it is a prefix 2-credit meal now for dinner and lunch. That's a bummer because in many videos that I've posted on this channel, I do suggest trying to get Be Our Guest early so you can get into the park early and have breakfast there. Fast passes. As many of you do know, fast passes are no longer available with your park admission. The reason for this is because they want to utilize the standby line with fast pass lines for capacity to allow as many guests as possible to go through the attractions. Fast passes made wait times longer in standby lines when they were introduced, because they would push as many fast pass people through and then those in the standby line would have to wait. Because of that elimination, that is going to make lines a lot less, plus because of the park pass reservation, capacities are going to be a lot lower. So on the bright side of all of this, if you are going to be traveling soon in 2020, we can hope and expect a lot shorter lines. We do anticipate fast passes to return. Unfortunately, we do not have a date for that, but be sure you like my Facebook page where I post instantly any news that I do here. Park Pass reservation system. The last video I posted before this one was my tutorial of my process going through reserving my park passes. It's a very seamless and very quick procedure. It just requires you to be comfortable with My Disney Experience and know how to link confirmation numbers and link your family members that are all traveling together. From there, we have found trends that there is plenty of availability, specifically if you're staying on site, which is now another perk for staying on site because you do have a majority of the reservations to make park passes. We saw last week the annual pass holders getting the opportunity to book theirs and did notice that the annual pass holders did not have availability or ran out of availability quickly for that first week, while people staying on site still had the option to book those. If you have more questions about the reservation system, be sure to watch the video that I previously posted showing the availability calendar, showing the process of reserving the park days. This is a very low stress circumstance. So a lot of people were rushing very quickly to get their reservations booked because this is now the first step you take when booking your reservation. But there is tons of availability, no need to rush, but just know as time goes on and you wait, the longer you wait to plan your vacation, the more likely that less days will be available. My Disney Experience. My Disney Experience app and website have never been more important for your Disney vacation. This is going to be your one stop for when it comes to making sure that you are going to get in the park and, like previously, have dining reservations, etc. This is also going to be the key communication that Disney is going to provide to you, so you need to make sure that that email address that you're using for your login is one that you currently use often, so they can contact you with any changes. A lot of things are fluid right now with Disney World, and so changes happen almost every day. Know before you go. Disney has released a website for those traveling to Walt Disney World called Know Before You Go, which will update guests on lots of changes or things that are happening, including guidelines and procedures for you to follow while in the parks. This will include when masks are going to be removed if at any time, so we do know that they currently are required to entering parks in Disney Springs. However, it does not say mask, it actually does say face coverings. So there have been people that I've seen ask, is bandanas or neck gaiters included in that? All Disney has said is face coverings. Temperature checks and things like that will also be going on. So this website is essential for you to see what will be happening once you do plan to go. That link is provided to all of my guests that are traveling. They do receive it via email. Be sure to check the Disney website if you did not book with a travel agent to see where you can find that information. And lastly, I wanted to go through what now I would consider your top 4 priorities when booking and planning your Walt Disney World trip. Because previously, on these videos, I stressed and had tons of emphasis on crowd calendars and viewing when people were going to be traveling. Avoid holidays, avoid marathon weekends, etc. That has pretty much gone out the window because now with capacity limits, there's no crowds to even bother with because there's going to be less amounts of people. We also talked about viewing park hours because extra magic hours were essential when planning your days, especially if you wanted to avoid crowds, you wanted to avoid extra magic hour days. Extra magic hours are also removed indefinitely, so now we no longer have to worry about park hours. But you do need to view park hours because they are going to be different and are going to fluctuate, hopefully throughout this phased process. We know that Epcot will be closing at 9 p.m. like usual, but they don't open till 11. Magic Kingdom closes at 7, etc. So you do need to view and notice that some of these parks will be either opening later or closing earlier. Here are the order of priorities you need to consider when booking your trip. Number 1, the availability calendar. As mentioned in the previous video that I filmed, I talked about how you can see ahead of time which park days are starting to run low on park pass reservations. Here's a picture on the website where you can click check availability, and then you'll see something like this where it'll have the calendar, and you can click on the top resort guest, AP, or just regular ticket holders to see how many tickets are still available for the day you want to consider. This will be essential as the year goes on because we may see more and more limited availability with days, but right now, most of 2021 for sure is definitely open, including major holidays in 2020 like Christmas, still showing up completely green for those staying on Disney property. So once you view the days you're possibly thinking about going to Disney and see that there is plenty of availability around that area, they will show up green on the calendar. If they're yellow, that means at least one of the parks has run out of park passes for that time. So you've picked your dates based on that. Step 2, you're going to check your resort availability. Like we discussed earlier in the video, not all resorts are going to be open. So you're going to want to make sure that the one that you are most interested in will be open at that time. So see the list earlier in this video to make sure that the resort you want is going to be available. You can look through that like you previously do on Disney sites when you quote and check for options there, or just let your travel agent know that that's the resort you're interested in. They can provide quotes for you. At this time, we have been told that in 2021, all new packages will no longer get complimentary magic bands. So what that means is that you will get a key card at your resort that can be used for park entry as well as opening your room door. If you had a magic band from a previous trip, those still can be used and you can link them correctly, or you can actually buy them for a discounted rate through the Disney site when selecting magic bands, or go to the Disney store site and buy any that they have at full price there. With Disney being closed for so long, I can completely understand where they're trying to find some ways to save some money since they lost so much for being closed. But magic bands were a top priority for a lot of my guests, and they looked forward to that, but just know that you can still have magic bands, they're just no longer free. Number 3, reserve your park passes. This is going to be something a little different. So usually when we would book reservations, we had a few months until we had to do our next big step, which was reserve dining plans or reserve dining reservations. But now, the instant that you book your trip and have your deposit paid, you can book the days you want to be in each park. And that is highly suggested you do that very promptly. So the instant you link that confirmation number with the confirmed package or tickets that you've purchased, you can go in and go ahead and pick your park days for each day. Remember, at this time, you can only do one park per day. So now with that being like the essential step in the process, that has to be done immediately after booking, and then from there you are kind of sitting and waiting as far as your next step to book something, and that would be dining, which has now changed from 180 days before to now just 60 days before. So like I had mentioned earlier, they have opened dining reservations for those for July and August trips, and it should be open to the public here in the next few days. That is 60 days plus however many days you're staying if you're staying on property, or 60 days to the day if you are not staying on property. So 2 months before is when you will be able to start looking at reservations. Just know at this point in time, if you're traveling from now until maybe September, October, you're gonna have very limited experiences, specifically with characters. I know that was a handful and that was a lot of information to process. Times are changing, things are changing often, things are fluid. We just have to be in the know when it comes to what's going on with Disney, and that's why I would love to help you if you're interested in using my free planning services. My information's below. Contact me via email or send me a message on Facebook. So if you're new to this channel and you're checking out some of the videos previously, just know that a lot of that information now no longer is relevant to all this new stuff that is happening. So again, if there are any questions you have, let me know. I would love to work with you guys. Please subscribe to the channel because at the very beginning of park opening in mid-July, my husband and I will be still taking our trip, masks and all. We'll be taking you along to see what capacities look like and going through all the different new things so I can share that with you for those of you traveling soon to kind of give you an idea of what to expect. Downside is the masks and a lot of things being closed. Upside is I'm really looking forward to the low crowds and low capacity, and hopefully in July, which is usually when we go, not having to wait a ton. I know it's gonna be stinking hot. We'll be prepared, hopefully. All right, thanks for sticking around for so long. For those of you who've been a subscriber for so long, I'm glad you guys are here, and we as Disney fans will hopefully stick together and get through this. And just know again that things change constantly. I will try to keep you in the know. 2021 packages have opened up and are available for booking. So if you watched the video about that, we can now add park tickets and room reservations together, and I can get you booked as soon as you are ready. Have a magical day. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.